Good morning, everyone. My name is Tracy Champagne, and we want to welcome you to the Connect Show. For every show, we invite some of the best and the brightest to help you succeed in your business, no matter where you are in your journey.
What is one mental investment that you would like to make for the new year? And if you have an opportunity, please put it in the chat. This will be a great topic for conversation, and we have some experts on mental investments for the new year who can help answer your questions and make 2022 your best.
And please like and subscribe if you're listening to this on podcasts, LinkedIn, YouTube, or the Facebooks, and reach out to us at theideas@theconnectshow.com. And if you're watching this and not on Zoom right now, go to bit.ly/theconnectshow to join us. Get all of your questions answered by our experts today. And today we're going to talk about mental investments for 2022. We're going to have Maggie Mognan and Neil Panasonian. I keep stumbling on that.
I think it's Panasonian.
Panasonian.
Yep.
And how we can prepare to make our next year our best.
It is a good tongue twister to start the day. We'd like to recognize our sponsor, which is Serendipity Labs, and it's a great co-working space where you can just be surrounded by a lot of entrepreneurs. You know, there's Elsie from Podcast Town, and Compass Realty is upstairs, and so there's a lot of co-workers around. And being a solopreneur, it's great to have that camaraderie, and I've talked about that before, where it's just kind of nice to walk down the hall and kind of give somebody the nod.
Like this morning, we saw Mark Bader walk down.
Yeah, just people just stop in, and it's just cool to have that camaraderie and have people around. So I really appreciate the lab. It's a lot of fun to work here.
And then on to the part of the show that we'll be talking about goal setting for the new year. We'll also be having a Christmas party on December 21st, and that will be live and on Zoom. And we're going to have treats. So if you are at Serendipity Labs, or if you would like to come visit Serendipity Labs, that's the day to do it on, because we'll have treats.
The treats are pretty amazing. I was able to go to Jen's Sweet Treats, which is going to be one of our sponsors for the Christmas show, and they're amazing. So she's got cupcakes that are, peppermint bark and Andy's candies and almond joy. The almond joy was really good, and my favorite was the orange creamsicle cupcake. It was really good. They have cocoa bombs and all kinds of stuff. You had me at treats. That is fantastic. I can't wait to see you when you get here. We also have Fusion. So let's go to 1Z. And Fusion's coming up on January 25th, and that's going to be just a really fun event where we're focused on 10 minutes of learning and then action. Learn it, do it. Learn it, do it. And we have a number of speakers, and we've brought in all these experts, but more importantly, brought in these experts into a system. So when you get there, if you're stuck, if you're unsure of what you should be doing for 2022, if you made that resolution list and then you're kind of fading on it, this is a great time to get the proper people to get the mindset, get the strategy and the tactics to help you grow your business, connect with people, and make an impact, share your gift. What is one of the things that you're looking forward to for Fusion?
Oh, I think it's going to have a lot of energy, and I think people are going to leave kind of with an exhaustion in their brain, but yet many tools in their back pocket now on how to move forward. So I expect it to be quite powerful day.
And you've been working with all of the guests to have them create a special 10-minute program for that day. So it's not their run-of-the-mill thing that they're doing. We're setting out a task to build a system, and they're going to lend their expertise, because all of these things that we bring you every week, they're just pieces of the puzzle, and then it's up to you to put them together and make your own recipe.
Yep, and it's going to be quick, 10 minutes, but it's going to be a lot of action in 10 minutes. So
it is. So we've talked to a lot of coaches in the past year, and for 2022, what type of coach would you think would be most useful for you in the new year, Tracy? We got that backwards.
I know, because I stumble on this question.
Right?
The only one that I can think of that I could possibly use would be maybe a mindset coach or somebody that could help me stay more productive. I feel like I'm pretty productive, but there are some days that that the productivity is just not happening like I would. So would like it. So maybe a coach for that.
Yeah, time management is definitely a emotional problem, and I have the same thing, and I have the same need. I'd like to have a mindset coach because I'd like to overcome my character defects. You know, I'm flawed. I think we all are, and I don't mean that in a harsh way. You know, because there's always you got to love yourself and be okay with where you're at. I think they both can exist. I'm okay with where I'm at, and I want to improve on my character defects. And that for me, that mindset is the same thing, being more productive. How can I get really busy and then also be thinking about that next step 3 months out and do both at the same time? Because that is a time management emotional problem, because sometimes when we get busy, the B word, I hate it, it's a bad word, but you know, when we get the B word, we say, oh, I don't have time to go to the networking events, and I don't have time to do that cadence and that process and that system. And so that becomes a mindset issue. It's not the system. And I'd really like to have the opportunity to address that with a mindset coach next year. And I'm gonna.
And with that, we have all of you in the chat. Please put your contact information in there. And I don't see anybody posting anything about what they want to change for 2022 either yet. So where are those, you guys?
And put your LinkedIn profile in the chat too. Our quote for the day is so fitting for our guest, and it's by Brené Brown, and it is, "There's no joy without gratitude." And our guests today are going to be talking about that mental investment and that happiness that happens from finding joy, finding gratitude, and I'm really looking forward to getting started. But before we do, I think we need a little bit of vitamins for the soul.
Didn't talk about the giveaway yet.
Well, we have vitamins for the soul where we can do a little bit of giveaway teasing. So why don't you tell us about the giveaway, and that will be a great start.
All right. So for today's Vitamins for the Soul, we're going to talk about our giveaway.
I'm excited about the giveaway.
We have not one, not two, not three,
Oh
not
my
four,
goodness.
not
My
five,
goodness.
not six, but 7 books we're giving away today.
This is something. This is something.
7 books. So if you go to our giveaway page / the Connect Show /giveaways, you'll see all 7 giveaways in there. And you can enter each one, and you can enter each one as many as you like, but you only have 35 minutes to do it.
Do it.
So you got to do it now.
Get on it. Neil is an author of a book, Happy Life for Busy People, as well as a creator of the website, secrettoanamazinglife.com. Mr. Panasonian, oh my goodness, we practiced this beforehand, we really did, and for some reason now we have that mental block. So has been involved in the field of self-improvement for over 20 years and recently nominated Best Milwaukee Author for 2016 and 17 by Shepherd Express.
Mr. Panasonian has appeared on several podcasts as well as in local and national publications. He helps individuals reduce stress, increase joy, and become the best versions of themselves through his books, his website, his YouTube channel, as well as his live events.
Welcome, Neil. We're so glad to have you on the show today. And what inspired you to write your first book?
That's a great question, and I think that's what separates me from a lot of self-help individuals out there. My first book was actually started because my own life needed help. And I, at the time, was not financially, had a lot of financial wherewithal, so I went to the library, to the self-improvement section, like I'm sure a lot of other people do, and it was kind of overwhelming. I mean, there was books from how to start your own business to how to tell if your partner is an alien, and gleefully, although my lady is fabulous and out of this world, I'm pretty sure she wasn't an alien, but I just wondered why there was not a book that was for the average individual that could have quick and powerful things that would help improve your life. So I began trying different self-improvement techniques and keeping track of what worked and what did not, which started my website and my blog. And from there I took the best of that and what worked best for me and put it into a book form so I could share it with more individuals.
That's awesome. So in your books, you have 3 reasons why people don't take care of themselves. So let's go through each one of them one by one. The first one is they don't have the time.
Correct. Just like John was saying, the B word, it affects us all. In fact, that's why when I did speaking, most people said, well, I don't have the time. That was the number one reason they didn't take care of themselves. So I wrote my first book is A Happy Life for busy people, had to even include the B word in the title. Most of the things that are in that book take 2 to 5 minutes a day, don't take a lot of effort, but yet have a great impact on your life in a positive fashion. I want people to know that self-improvement doesn't have to take a lot of your time. You don't have to meditate for an hour a day. You don't have to sell your possessions and move to an ashram. There is fun and simple things that we can do that can have a great and positive impact on our lives.
That's awesome.
So now that we make time, you seem to have a system where it's 3 steps. Let's look at that second step of when we have time, how do we make this a must, that we have to have a happy life?
One of the most mind-blowing things that always comes to me is people say, well, I have more important priorities. Isn't my health more important? Isn't my finances more important? And they treat self-care as if it is a separate entity all to itself, where if you handle self-care and you take care of yourself, it affects every aspect of your life, which is kind of what I moved into in my second book, Living the Dream. I always say when it comes to taking care of your family and your productivity at work, the cliche is tired, but there is some sense of truth. You can't fill a cup from an empty pitcher. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of others. And once you take care of yourself, I think any of us can think of it, when you're in a joyous and healthy state full of energy and vitality, aren't you more productive at work? Aren't you more likely to try new things, maybe stick with a fitness plan? The first part is taking care of ourselves so we can bring more of ourselves and help those in our lives that we care about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you do need to make it a priority because it does trickle down into everything else. So what is the last reason that you have on why people don't spend more time on themselves?
We're kind of back to that, spending an hour meditating each day. People think that self-improvement has to be something arduous and not enjoyable. And we spend 80% of our lives in process. We were talking a lot about mindset earlier in the show, which is a perfect segue. I think anything that you accomplish in life is 80% mindset, 20% mechanics. And changing your mindset, it should not be difficult. If you're going to spend 80% of your life in process doing something and only 20% when you reach the goals, the most important thing is enjoying that process. I have a friend who owns Peak Physique Fitness, and I went to start getting in shape, obviously, in turn for the new year. And I asked him, I said, what is the best exercise to do? And I was expecting him to say, well, the rowing machine uses so many muscles, and, or walking is healthy. And he said, the best exercise you can do is the one you enjoy the most. And why? Because you're most likely to stick with it. The same thing goes for your mental fitness as well. If you're looking to improve your life, it is most important to start with small, with something that you enjoy. I have many different things to choose from that are all customizable in my books, and they're fun because once you gain that momentum and you start with something small you enjoy, you're more apt to bridge off from there and start incorporating other aspects that could improve your life.
I think that's a refreshing new concept, because a lot of times you hear no pain, no gain, or it's got to be tough to do it. And you're saying do things that are enjoyable. And I think that goes back to creating your own recipe. Everybody has different motivations and a different way that they're going to thrive and be their best. And some people need to do an exercise that's enjoyable, and some people need to do an exercise that is painful because it's what drives them. So finding your own happiness is definitely important. You have a great book, Living the Dream. Can you tell us a little bit about the book?
Absolutely. My first book, Started to a Happy Life for Busy People, started more because I wanted to increase joy and happiness in people's lives. And I realized that people needed successful strategies that would affect every area of their lives, which is what led me to write Living the Dream almost a decade later, and plus everything that I learned from there. Living the Dream encompasses more than just stress reduction and happiness. It goes through every aspect of our lives that are important, our career, our relationships at home. Now, one of the most question that I get asked is, how can you tell me how to live the dream when everybody's dream can be different? Somebody might want to live in the city surrounded by all the action, whereas somebody else might want to live in the mountains surrounded by, well, nobody. And the lessons and the strategies in that book are completely customizable. Quickly, one of the ones that I think is powerful is creating a playlist of songs that bring you joy and put you in a better mental state. Now, that works for everybody. Think how many times, you're driving down and you hear a song that just reminds you of something fun from your youth, and by the time the song's done, you're in a great state. Having a list of those can work for anyone, but each person can customize it with whatever song speaks to them. I mean, we have playlists for working out, we have playlists for party mix. It's time to make your entire life a party, and when life throws you a curveball and you're feeling a little down, to be able to just push play on your iPod or MP3 player, or even on your cell phone, you can create a list on YouTube, and having that to circumvent and change your emotional state can at least have you approach the challenges in a better frame of mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do like the playlist idea. I think I have like 20 different playlists.
Same here.
But see, what happens is I start a playlist, and then I'll play it for a while and I really like it, and then all of a sudden I change or something happens, and then I have to change the playlist around, or there's a new song that came out that I have to add to the playlist, or it's an evolving playlist.
which is something I bring to light in my books, is that self-care is not only adaptable, but it's ever evolving. And just like creating a playlist, it's kind of a fun idea. Hey, I like this new song, let's throw it on there. Let's expand the playlist. Or I'm kind of tired of this one, let's take it out for now. And it doesn't have to be arduous. It can be fun. It can be ever evolving. Like you said, you change, people change, your goals might change, and you can adapt. And that whole process can be enjoyable. And the more enjoyable it is, the more likely you are to stick with it. If 2020 taught us anything, is that I think self-care has to be something that's put at the forefront. I always tell people at my seminars that the time to learn to swim is on the shore and not when the ship is sinking, because by then it's a little late. And we never know. My next book is coming from a personal challenge. In about a month, I'm going to undergo open heart surgery, and I'm chronicling that journey to help people in the future that might have to go through it. So you never know when a challenge like that might come upon you, and if you are prepared and you have these methods in place, it certainly makes the challenges a little easier to deal with.
That is so brave that you're doing that.
And then you'll write that whole experience in the book, so then people who have that similar experience, they'll be able to relate, or you'll be able to kind of help them and guide them along, so they don't feel like they're doing it all alone.
Correct, and I think my goal is that I hope it takes a lot of fear out of the experience when they say, oh, I'm feeling this way, or I go, okay, it's part of the process. And to me, every challenge in life, using that as an opportunity to serve is one of the ways that I think makes life challenges easier.
That's awesome. Well, Neil, thank you for being our guest today.
Thank
I'm
you for
so
giving me the
glad.
opportunity. I appreciate it.
Yep.
And if we pull up 6DZ, that will be the information where all of your links are put onto the website.
The Connect Show
yep.
/ Neil Panasonian.
Panosian. Yes, right.
All right, thank you. No space. I put a little space in there, but yeah, but it's going to be no space. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it. And with that, Kim is going to be taking the helm and driving us through our fantastic networking report, and we're so looking forward to it.
Maggie is a small business thought leader, master business coach, and growth strategist, multi #1 international best-selling business author, and possibilitarian. She worked with Fortune 50 companies to solo entrepreneurs. Maggie is commonly known for creating the #1 best-selling business book series, Brilliant Breakthroughs, and for the small business owner.
With almost 20 years ago, Maggie founded Brilliant Breakthrough, Inc., a coaching practice that guides and simplifies your business brilliance consistently. Her clients create profitable and peace-filled businesses. That's beautiful. I love that, peace-filled businesses. From Harley rider to cheese lover, she's a Wisconsin native, go pack go. Amazingly, Maggie delivers this high impact while still recovering 2 severe traumatic brain injuries.
Welcome, Maggie.
Thank you. So happy to be here.
So just as we asked Neil, what made you decide to write a book and then 4 more after that?
Well, the concept was just one. Okay. And the concept came from the fact that I, as a master business coach, about at the beginning of the century, makes us all sound a little old, doesn't that? I started to realize that there was a problem. There was a glitch and a huge gap that was happening between small business owners and the providers. And the providers were still teaching last century's techniques. They weren't upgrading, and they were serving vanilla. So I saw 2 marketplaces, and my quest was, how do I meld the 2 together, build that bridge? And I didn't want it to be a book, even though I was blogging and have over 1,000 blog posts. I didn't want it to be a book. What I wanted it to be was something that was video, because everybody said video, video, video. Well, guess what? I did the research, and the research said do a book. And that's the one thing that I think small business owners don't do enough of is research.
That is such a good point. You talked about simplifying your business, and I love, in looking through your material and reading your books, you have a lot of sound bites and quotes. You got a lot of goods. You got a lot of nuggets. So we're going to see if we can get as many nuggets as we can today. So if you're out there in Zoom land, grab a pen and a paper, because she's going to be dropping some bombs here in a minute. Let's talk about simplifying your business, and can you tell us more about that?
Yes, let's start with the whole concept that business starts with an idea. Now here's where everybody goes wrong, is right away on the concept side of things. And that's what fascinates me the most, is we have this concept, and all of a sudden we hear somebody say, you should do, and then we start doing. And we're not doing strategy. We're not thinking about where we want to land. And that's the first step that is so important and usually missed, which then takes me right to the human doing versus the human being, right? And what happens is we get unleashed, we got this idea, and we're like, yay, I can do it, and have all sorts of fun, and we get caught in busyness. Okay.
The B word.
Yep.
Yep. doing. And in our volume 2, the Green Book, I spend a whole chapter talking about the busyness trap. Okay, and how to pull back from that. So what I see is we start creating our own overwhelm, and then what happens is we get caught on this wheel instead of pulling back. Makes sense?
It does.
Totally makes sense.
Yeah, that human doing versus the human being, right?
Interesting.
It's pretty common.
So then, what are the rules that you suggest people should follow so we can either get out of that or never get into it?
Avoid that shiny object syndrome. Yeah, right?
That's there.
Yep.
It's
it
a real
happened.
thing.
Squirrel.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's totally crazy. Well, the first thing is realize simplicity rules. And I'm known for a quote that's slow down to accelerate. And that is really important because that's how simplicity starts. Are you maximized? Are you maxed out? You know, how many of us are, right? So we need to slow down and accelerate. And how we do that is we move from maximization to optimization because we employ simplicity, not minimalization. That's different. And if you think of optimization, it's about finding the sweet spot as to what it is that works for you and what you're trying to achieve. Because if you try to maximize everything, what happens is like the old stereo speakers and remember the soundboards where you would just put all the buttons up and everything would get distorted? That's what you don't want to do. That's maximization, and that creates our burnout. Okay? So in the focus of shifting to optimization, that's where you gain peace. That's where you gain clarity so you can prioritize. And the easiest way to think about that is to move your business into the 4 performance pillars for small business success. And I introduced that at the beginning of each one of the books in the introduction. There's a whole framework on it. And it starts with, what do you think it starts with?
The 4 pillars. I'm going to go with, we're big fans of mindset.
Well, you are.
Yeah.
And I noticed that. And you're right. Mindset's really big in there. And that starts with right thoughts, right? So if you want to improve your profitability, your people relationships, your productivity, and finding peace in your business, it starts with your thoughts. And not just any thoughts, but right thoughts.
Yeah.
Okay, right thoughts plus right actions equals success.
Such a great formula.
It is, and it's
so
not
easy.
mine. It's ancient, okay? But that's what works. It's really powerful.
So when we get that mindset down, or we get that mindset started, let's say, that sounds like a better starting point because we don't want to have it down because then we'll never move on from there.
Right.
You talk about collaboration, and how can collaborating help us when we're get that right mindset?
Okay, well, think about it. If I have right thoughts and I'm coupling right actions to get my success, and you're doing the same and you're doing the same, when we have a conversation, we find out if we're in alignment or not, right?
Alignment. I love that.
And first we have to align with ourselves, because how often do we see and hear people saying, oh, I'm all about abundance, oh, I'm all about the greater good, but their actions aren't connected to that. They're misaligned. So if they slow down, they can align better. And then when they meet other people, all of a sudden, guess what? You find out who your family is. And that's where it gets easy. The relationship building just happens on its own. Isn't that beautiful?
It is beautiful.
Yeah,
It
it's
is
simple.
beautiful.
She makes it sound like it's an artsy masterpiece type of lifestyle.
But it is. It is.
To me, it seems just really, instead of going, sometimes when you're on the internet and you find that shiny object, it's how to sell. And that how to sell is formulas, strategy, these real harsh, techniques. And there's not a lot of words like values and intentions, and you talk about honoring the other's wisdom. All of those things are really beautiful, and they seem very collaborative, very nurturing, very community, and I love that.
Right, and that fourth performance pillar, finding peace in your business, that's what that's about, because we're human, and it starts with us as leaders.
And that is such an important point when you talk about finding peace in your business. I come from the Tony Robbins world, where it's acceleration, scaling, optimization, all of those things is the fourth pillar. And I like the peace in your business, because not everybody wants to accelerate, optimize, and scale. They don't want a $7 billion empire. They just want to do what they do and be happy doing it. And it's finding your own recipe, and I love it.
It is.
I love it.
Yeah, so it's all about honoring everybody's wisdom and start with yourself. That's an intentional leader.
So can you tell us a little bit more about what is in each one of the books? What makes them different aside from the color? Because I looked at the titles and they're all the same. So.
Yes, they are. Thus, it's a series.
Yeah.
So the difference, and there's about 8 to 10 chapters in each one, and every chapter is a very different topic. But what I can share with you is Volume 1, which is on the left, is an overall proof of concept that small business needs to change for the 21st century to be successful. And if we want to win big, that's where we got to go. So there's a smattering there.
Okay.
What happened with the Green Book, Volume 2, was really simple. All of a sudden, all the authors decided to go ahead and, unknowingly to anyone else, write about the Golden Rule and the Platinum Rule, but through business and through their expertise. So it was really beautiful. The third book came around.
I have to interrupt. You said the Golden Rule and the Platinum Rule. Remind us what the Platinum Rule is.
Well, what's the Golden Rule?
Do unto others as you'd like to have them do unto you. Yeah,
Must be a different golden rule.
Okay.
Okay, so what's the Golden Rule?
I have no idea what the golden rule is.
Okay. Do unto others
Yeah.
as you like to have done to you.
Well, so you were right.
Okay. So what do you think?
Scared for a second. Like, what did I do? I went to a Catholic school. I'm sorry.
So did
okay.
I.
All right.
Okay, so when we go to the Platinum Rule, we add another layer to that. It's do unto others as they would want done unto them.
Ooh. Ooh, that's big.
Yeah.
That's
so,
a nugget. Write it down.
So if you're buying Christmas gifts, don't buy what you want. Buy what they want.
Oh, that's how I
the
screw that up
difference.
all the time. Yeah.
Platinum Rule, baby. Platinum Rule.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Okay.
Everybody in my family gets cameras and lenses and stuff, and then they get all pissed off. I don't know why. Okay.
Well, that would
Now
be
I know.
why.
Now I know.
Go platinum.
There we go. Platinum.
Gold is good. Platinum's a little better.
You bet.
Okay, then in the third volume, the red one, what we did was we opened it up and it became much more about advancing your game, utilizing technology and productivity heavily, even though we addressed each one of those performance pillars in each book. Then the fourth volume, very interesting what happened there. I just lost my train of thought.
Fourth volume.
Okay.
Very interesting what happened there.
Purple book.
Purple.
The Amethyst book was, oh shoot, I don't remember what that one was.
So the purple one is a surprise book.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Let's roll with it.
And I think that's really good. So when you get it, you'll be like, oh, look at that. I needed that. It'll be exactly what the universe intended for you that day.
It was much deeper. It was about the personal side of business. Okay, so that will help there. And then the fifth one, which just released last month, is all about intentionality. And every year, these topics just emerged on their own. And I would look at everybody's submission and go, oh, check this out. Here's what we really wrote about. And we just put it in the lens of what our particular expertise was. So it's beautiful. Thank you.
It sounds like your series is organically growing and evolving, and it's a beautiful way to create. It's a true collaborative and creative process when you say, I'm going to do this thing, but I don't have to define exactly what it is at the end. I'm going to let it grow and become what it's supposed to. I appreciate that.
Thank you, thank you. And the 5th volume, which is turquoise, is the final volume.
Oh, you're not doing any more, huh?
1 book a year with 8 to 10 experts is a lot to do. It's a lot to do. And as we had shared, I'm recovering from a traumatic brain injury. I've done all that with that, and I need to take care of myself now.
Yeah.
So back to that whole self-care thing, guess what my 2022 is?
Self-care.
Extreme self-care.
That's
And
beautiful.
you'll never know what might result out of that. You never know where your life will take you. Who knows what project you'll do next.
Well, I already know what the next book is, so.
So books are still in the future.
Yes.
Just a different type of book.
But not
That's
this
great.
year. Not this
Right.
coming year. I need a break.
Yep.
Yep, so thank you.
That's awesome. Do you have any upcoming events that you want to share with our guests?
Oh, thanks for asking. Yes, we have a master class talking about the 4 performance pillars for small business success, which is at the beginning of each book there. And that releases at the end of the month.
Okay. And I think on 7DZ, we have the contact info on that.
And it's a simple master class that's going to move people through so they can discern what it is they should be prioritizing on for the new year.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for coming.
Yeah, this was fun.
It's fun to be on. It's like a little Oprah.
It is.
We're like a little mini Oprah.
Well, it is going to be Oprah
This is Oprah.
pretty soon because
Yep.
everybody's going to be getting some giveaways.
Yep, we're gonna make it rain.
Yes, everybody's going to get something.
Yep, you get a
Hopefully.
book. You get a book. It's gonna be fun. With that, I think we have cats.
Do we have cats?
No, I don't. I think we lost the cats.
Oh,
that
we got the
do
cats.
We got the cats. We got the cats.
You
You know what might be neat is why don't you and Neil and Maggie?
I just need one more person, just one more second.
I mentioned earlier that obtaining one fun thing that's inspirational that could improve your life. I certainly think that one of my things for 2022 is to tune in every Tuesday at 10 a.m. because this show, honestly, with the vitamins for the soul and the guests that you bring to the forefront, I think could bring light and improvement to everyone's life. So if you're looking for a fun and simple way to improve your life in the coming years, watching the Connect Show is a simple and fun way to do it.
I think we should hire
This is your PR man.
Being honest, it's been an honor being on here, but I've gained even more listening to Meg.
All right, well, then we're going to wrap up this show. And so if you have not liked and subscribed us on the YouTubes, the LinkedIn, the Facebook, the newsletter, and everywhere else to keep on top of who we have coming in, please do that. And then next week we have Action Coach. So you're going to learn about all the reasons today why you should be doing the stuff that you should be doing for 2022. And next week we're going to put it all into action with the Action Coach people. We have Jackie Zach and Bill Vinson. We're both action coaches in the Milwaukee area, so excited for that. And that's all we got. Thanks for coming, you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. And thanks for all my guests.